Have you ever stopped to wonder how all the different parts inside your computer actually talk to each other? Well, today we're going to peel back the cover and look at one of the most critical but often invisible parts of the whole system, the computer bus. You can think of it as the secret highway that keeps everything moving. So what exactly is this secret highway that literally every single computer depends on? We know it connects the brain, the CPU, to the memory and everything else, but how does it actually pull it off? Well, that highway is the computer bus. At its core, it's a shared communication channel, basically a collection of wires that lets all the different parts of your computer, your CPU, your memory, even your keyboard and mouse, talk to each other by sending data and signals back and forth. To make this super simple, let's picture your computer as a busy city. The CPU, that's City Hall. The memory, that's the main library. And your keyboard is maybe a factory on the outskirts. The bus is the entire road network, the highways, the streets, the back alleys that connects them all. Without those roads, the city is just a bunch of isolated buildings. It can't function. I mean, can you imagine the chaos? It's kind of a funny way to think about it, but it's true. The CPU would be shouting for information, and the memory would just shrug and say, "Sorry, the courier service is closed." It really drives home just how absolutely essential this system is. But here's the thing. This highway isn't just one big slab of asphalt. It's actually a pretty sophisticated system made up of 3 different kinds of lanes, which in the tech world we call signal groups. So let's take a closer look at the anatomy of this bus. And here they are, the data lines, the address lines, and the control lines. Each one has a very specific, very important job to make sure that all the information not only gets to where it needs to go, but gets there at the right time and in the right way. Let's break them down. But first, a quick pop quiz for you. We talk about the width of a bus, which is just like the number of lanes on a highway. So if your computer has a bus that's 64 bits wide, how much actual data can it move in a single pass? And the answer is 8 bytes. It's simple math, really. There are 8 bits in a byte, so you just divide 64 by 8. The big takeaway here is that a wider bus means more data can move at the exact same time. It's just like a wider highway lets more cars through, which means less traffic and better performance. Okay, now let's dive into those 3 lanes we talked about. We have a lane for the data itself, a lane for telling the data where to go, the address, and a lane for managing the flow of traffic, the control signals. Here's a quick side-by-side look. You can see the data bus moves the actual stuff, and it's bidirectional, meaning data goes both ways. The address bus just specifies the location, so it's usually unidirectional. And then the control bus is the manager, overseeing the whole process. So first up is the data bus. This is the part of the highway that's carrying the actual pargo. All the bits and bytes that make up your files, your games, your applications. It has to be a two-way street, right? Because the CPU needs to both read data from memory and write new data back to it. A really great way to think of the data bus is as a delivery truck. The width of the bus, 32-bit or 64-bit, is just the size of that truck. A bigger truck can obviously carry way more stuff in a single trip, which makes the whole delivery process a lot faster. And this has a huge impact on real-world speed. For instance, a 16-bit data bus running at 50 megahertz can move data at 800 megabits per second. This number, the bandwidth, is what directly affects how fast you can do things like load a big video file or stream a movie. Okay, next up, the address bus. If the data bus is the delivery truck carrying the packages, then the address bus is its GPS. It doesn't carry the cargo itself, it only carries one thing, the specific memory address, telling the truck exactly where to make the drop-off. And it's usually a one-way street with the CPU telling memory where to look. So here's another classic question, and if you're studying this stuff, you'll definitely see this on an exam. If an address bus has a width of 20 bits, so 20 separate lines, how many different, unique memory locations can it actually point to? And the answer is 2 to the power of 20, which comes out to just over 1 million unique locations. That corresponds to 1 megabyte of memory that it can address. This exponential relationship is so important to understand. Every single time you add one more line to the address bus, you double the amount of memory the computer can handle. And finally, we have the control bus. Now, this lane isn't carrying data or addresses. Nope, its job is to carry the traffic signals and commands. It's the highway's traffic controller, sending out signals like read from memory now or write to memory now to make sure everybody is working together and nobody crashes. A good analogy is to think of the control bus as a teacher in a classroom. It's constantly managing the conversation, telling one component when it's their turn to talk, another one to listen, and telling everyone else to just be quiet for a second. It prevents total chaos. But in a modern computer, having just one giant highway for everything would create massive traffic jams. That's why engineers came up with a bus hierarchy. You can think of it like a real city's road system. You have super-fast expressways for critical traffic and slower local roads for less urgent tasks. So at the very top of this hierarchy, you have the processor bus. This thing is lightning fast, connecting the CPU to its personal high-speed memory called a cache. Then you have the memory bus, which connects to your main RAM. And finally, you have the slower I/O buses that handle things like your keyboard or your USB drives. And you can really see the massive speed difference here. The processor bus might be humming along at a gigahertz, while the I/O bus for your keyboard is just taking a leisurely stroll at 100 megahertz. This separation is so important because it stops a slow device from bogging down the entire system. It's why your game can run smoothly while a file is slowly downloading in the background. Okay, that was a lot of information. So let's wrap this up by boiling it all down into a quick cheat sheet. If you're studying this for a class or an exam, these are the absolute must-know points. This is the number one point of confusion, so let's get it straight. The data bus carries the what, the actual data. It's bidirectional, and its width determines your bandwidth or speed. The address bus carries the where, the location. It's unidirectional, and its width determines your maximum memory capacity. If you remember that, what versus where, you'll be golden. And that brings us to a final thought to leave you with. We've seen how these buses are the fundamental highways inside our computers. But as our CPUs and our memory get faster and faster at an incredible pace, the pressure on these highways is getting insane. So the big question is, what do the computer highways of the future need to look like to keep up with that demand? Let us know what you think.